A lot to unpack this morning. President Trump projecting success as he returns home from his summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The president touted a closer relationship with China through new trade deals and finding common ground on Iran. President Xi calling this week a milestone visit. National correspondent Marcus Espinoza has more on the trade deals from this trip. But let's kick things off with White House correspondent Libby Dean with the latest from Washington this morning. Libby, good morning to you. Both the United States and China framing this summit as a win. What did we miss from overnight?
Yeah, that's expected, Markie, and good morning to you. I mean, President Trump now on his way back to Washington after what he's calling an incredible visit to China. It was a very quick summit over there, and trade in Iran really dominated those bilateral talks. And the president says he and the President Xi found this common ground on both of those things, with the U.S. and China strengthening their ties.
This has been an incredible visit. I think a lot of good has come of it. We've settled a lot of different problems that other people wouldn't have been able to settle. And the relationship is a very strong one.
China's president also hailing the summit as a win. He was telling reporters both countries reached a new constructive and strategic relationship. Officials say the U.S. negotiated multi-billion-dollar deals on farm products, and the president says China may soon start buying oil from the U.S. This morning, China also calling for an immediate end to the war in Iran and to reopen those shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz, something both sides want here. Before leaving Beijing, though, the president was actually given a rare tour, you're looking at it there, of the gardens around China's presidential compound, with President Xi saying he'd gift flower seeds to plant here at the White House in the Rose Garden. Now, the one moment of tension that we saw, Markie, on this trip came as Chinese officials said issues over Taiwan would damage and could damage the U.S.-China relationship. Then we saw the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, after this meeting say the U.S.'s stance on Taiwan remains unchanged, and President Xi now set to visit the president here at the White House in September, Markie.
Yeah, we'll see what all comes to fruition here in the coming days and weeks after this summit leading up to the next one. Libby Dean live at 1600 for us. Thank you. Let's dive deeper now into those new trade deals with NewsNation national correspondent Marcus Espinoza, who's live for us in New York City this morning. So, Marcus, what exactly is in those new deals, and what do they mean for you and me and everybody else at home?
Hey, Markie, good morning. Well, President Trump certainly fancies himself a deal maker, as you heard from Libby there, and he claims that they have reached a deal with China on China possibly buying American crude oil, and in fact that China tankers may soon be on their way to American shores. Take a listen.
They've agreed they want to buy oil from the United States. They're going to go to Texas. We're going to start sending Chinese ships to Texas and to Louisiana and to Alaska.
Now, U.S. officials are also trumpeting deals to boost the sales of U.S. farm goods in China, in particular with beef. China reapproved export licenses for hundreds of American slaughterhouses, and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer says the U.S. is expecting a deal for, quote, double-digit billions in Chinese agriculture purchases over the next 3 years here. President Trump also says China will buy 200 jets from Boeing, while it's China's first purchase of American-made commercial jets in about a decade. It's less than half of the 500 jets the market was expecting China to order, sending Boeing shares sliding nearly 4% Thursday. That's its steepest fall in 6 months. And then also the two countries agree that they need to do something about AI and keeping it out of the hands of bad actors. So we'll see what that brings in the future, but certainly AI on the mind of not just people, but countries as well. Markie?
Yeah, absolutely. Later on in the show, I'll actually be talking to generational soybean farmers just about these purchase agreements, these trade deals that were just announced, and we'll see how they're taking the news from this summit. Marcus Espinoza live for us in New York. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.